What's up YouTube? JM Comics here, with a late review of Marvel's Morbius. I just saw the movie an hour ago, and I know it's been like a month and a half since it came out, but I'm still gonna talk about it, and I don't have much to add to what people have been saying about this movie, but let's just get right into it, okay? And first off, let's start with visual effects, which are by far the worst part of this movie. Absolute trash. Like, this is the worst visual effects I've seen in a Marvel movie. I don't even know since when. Probably since like the original X-Men movies. That's how bad it was. Or since Spider-Man 3. Like, they don't look realistic. I mean, even the Venom movies, they're not realistic, obviously. But at least it looks like it's something that could occur in the real world with just the way the physics work. With this, he's like jumping off of buildings, he's flying through the air, and it doesn't look real, like, from any bend of the imagination. Like, the suspension of disbelief is crazy of this movie. Okay, and additionally, even the villain, like, he has the same powers as him, and he looks really bad too, so. Even the villain sucks, okay? And then even at the end, I'm gonna go ahead and say spoiler review, okay? But even at the end of the Vulture in the post-credit scene, his suit looks really, really ugly. Like, it doesn't even look as good as the Marvel Cinematic Universe version, obviously. And it doesn't even make sense that Vulture has his suit in this universe, but we're gonna get to that soon, okay? Don't worry, we'll get to that. Okay, so the acting performances here aren't that bad. I don't think it's Jared Leto's fault that Morbius as a character is not that interesting or cool. And the bad guy, Matt Smith or whatever, he does a good job being a villain because Matt Smith always plays a villain, like besides Doctor Who. But he does a good job as a villain, but it's still not a good character. Okay, you can't change that the character isn't good. And then his assistant, I don't know what the actress name is, but his assistant also does a pretty good job. I mean, it's not their fault that their characters suck really bad. I will say though, if Michael Morbius was a little bit more eccentric, if like Jared Leto gave a more eccentric performance, and the character might have been more interesting. Okay, and here's the example I'm gonna draw comparisons to. So Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider movie from like the early 2000s was sort of the same as this movie in like many ways. It just felt like the same concept to me. I don't know why. They're not that similar, but they're both like sort of demonic Marvel characters, and they have that same sort of corny, cringy style as each other. And I will say, with Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage's eccentric personality definitely made that movie way more worth the watch than Morbius. So yeah, if Jared Leto was a bit more eccentric or like charismatic of his character, it might have been better. Cause like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider movie is not a great movie, but I think Nicolas Cage's performance definitely carries and makes that movie way better than it would have otherwise been. So yeah, this movie, the main character is not that interesting. And let's talk about the plot itself, which just absolutely falls apart. There is barely any plot to be spoken about. Um, The beginning was okay. I mean, I understood what was going on at the beginning, and I thought, you know what, this could be a good movie. Maybe critics are just being harsh on it, because critics were harsh on the Venom movies, but I actually liked the Venom movies. But unfortunately, that was not the case here. This movie is just actually kind of bad, okay? Because the plot makes no sense in the direction it goes in. Like, the main character, Michael Morbius, his friend when he was a kid or whatever, Milo, just becomes evil kind of out of nowhere. I mean, we know he has like aggression issues because he doesn't like the people who bullied him when he was a kid. But in no way does that make him capable of murdering like this. So I don't know. Just seemed like such a random suspension of disbelief, which is the main problem with this movie. It doesn't know how to suspend disbelief in a realistic way. Yeah, and then there's not even much to talk about. It's just so bad. Like, let me see what I talk about next. Let's talk about the Vulture in this movie. Okay, the trailers were acting like Vulture was in this movie for a good amount. Like, there was a scene where he was in a cop car or whatever, or next to a cop car with Morbius, and he was like, "What's up, Doc?" That's not in this movie at all. Vulture only appears in both after credit scenes, and his appearance doesn't even make a lot of sense. Okay, let's talk about the character himself first off. He has a wife and daughter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So why is he so nonchalant about getting transported to another dimension? I mean, maybe he actually cared about, leaving his daughter behind, but it didn't seem like that from the way he was talking and how sarcastic he was. But he is kind of a sarcastic guy, so who knows. I'll leave that slide. But then when it comes to the guy's actual suit, how did he get a suit in this universe? He was transported here from jail without a suit, just him and his prisoner attire. And then, for some reason, in the second after credit scene, he has his Vulture suit. And the Vulture suit is from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it was made with Chitauri technology. There are no Chitauri in this universe, in the Sony universe, as far as we're concerned. So how did this happen? Nobody knows. Okay, and additionally, the suit, like I said earlier, the CGI looks really, really trashy, just like Morbius and Milo CGI in this movie, which is really, really bad. And I hate to say it, but they're probably making a second movie. I mean, the way it ends with his assistant getting powers, Martine, I think Martine getting powers. It's obvious that they're trying to set up a second movie, but I really won't want to see it. I'll see it, but I'm not gonna enjoy it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get to the actual, review of it. So, in terms of the quality scale, I'd give this a solid 2 out of 10. If not for the after credit scenes, it'd probably be a 1 or like a 0. But the beginning of the movie and the after credit scenes were pretty good, so or okay, decent. So I'll give it a 2 out of 10. And in terms of entertainment value, I'll give it a C minus. It's not a boring movie. There were a few moments where I wanted to just get up and leave, but it wasn't like I can't stand watching it. It was more like it's kind of boring. I don't want to be here. So that being said, I would not check this movie out unless you are an absolute die-hard Marvel fan. And just look up the post-credit scenes, okay, if you're that desperate, because the rest of the movie is kind of irrelevant to the post-credit scenes. And of all that out of the way, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I can't wait for Morbius DS to be released. JM Comics out.